How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about one of the richest places on earth and also one of the most impoverished places on earth, and that is San Francisco, California, a city of only about 900,000 population with at minimum 5,000 homeless people that are all over the city causing a big time problem, leaving the mess everywhere. You got doo-doo on the ground, needles on the ground, just a terrible situation with the homeless population. Now, some would say the reason why there are so many homeless in the city is because of all the money that's there. They're saying that the cost of living is way too high, which it is. I mean, you're talking about like $5,000 a month on the low end to rent an apartment, maybe even as high as $10,000 or more. All that tech money falling into the city is making it totally unaffordable. And part of that is true. But that's not really the cause of the homeless problem, in my humble opinion. The cause of the homeless problem is all the things they do to try and fix it. Let me just explain what I mean here. Homeless people travel, okay? They'll get there one way or the other. They get there by plane, train, automobile, okay? You got homeless in California that may come from a whole different part of the country. They may come from New York, Atlanta, Florida, Chicago, South Dakota, North Dakota, Texas, everywhere. They're coming to San Francisco because it's beautiful weather, it's a nice place, and they're going to be accommodated pretty well. The city of San Francisco spends like $200 to $300 million on the homeless every year. Okay. Per person, that's like between $30,000 and $60,000. It's like having a salary. No, they're not going to be housed that way necessarily. We'll get to that in a moment, but at least they'll have all kinds of services. They're getting clean needles from the city. They're getting sometimes food. They're getting clothes. They're getting all kinds of things that make being homeless more palatable. And the reason why they're homeless is not even because of money all the time. A lot of the times they have drug addiction and mental problems or one or the other. Okay. So trying to put more money into the situation, like with Andrew Yang and the UBI, $1,000 a month ain't really going to fix it. How you going to put UBI $1,000 a month on top of like 30 to 60 grand and have that cure homelessness? But for now, I digress. The newest genius scheme in San Francisco is to build a sprawling homeless center right there on the waterfront in Embarcadero. And this is going to be right next to luxury condos, luxury apartments. Okay. It's not at the Golden Gate Bridge. It's at the Dwight D. Eisenhower Bridge. It goes to Oakland. It's right there. It ain't too far from the Warrior Stadium. It's a high to do area, as is most of the whole city, but definitely right there on the waterfront. The homeless center is going to have 44,000 square feet of space and 200 beds. Now, personally, I think that's not going to do anything but make the homeless problem worse, because people that are homeless hear about these things. Oh, they're building that new spot right there, right on the water, 200 beds. I'm in there. Let's get it. All you're going to do now is attract more homeless people. So you're never going to end the problem. These people, the new mayor, London Breed, are getting triggered and people are shouting her down in the town hall meeting. People don't want this. People that live right there don't want this in their backyard. Because number one, you got a lot of people that have mental problems. Like I said, people that are mentally unstable, drug addicts, you're going to have them right next to people that actually are paying a lot of money for their particular spot. If I'm paying $10,000 a month for my apartment, I would not want to live right next to a dope house. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I'm paying to prevent myself from living right there. It's a big time safety risk. It's a public health risk, because these guys and girls that are homeless are not necessarily going to just be in that spot all the time away from people. They're going to be outside. They're going to be copping drugs, and they're going to be committing crimes to get drugs, because last I checked, the drugs weren't free. Yes, the city is providing the needles, but they're not providing the drugs to go in the needles for free. So they got to find a way to make money to be able to acquire the drugs. And what's a better way than to just go outside of your homeless encampment that's sponsored by the city and go to steal something from one of these rich people that live right in the area? It's a safety risk. Okay. Then the mayor's talking about having clean injection sites. That ain't nothing but a government-sponsored trap house, a dope house, a crack house, essentially. They may not be doing crack in there. They could be shooting heroin or whatever, but it's still the same type of thing. Nobody wants to live next to that. And all you're doing is just making it easier for people to live out there. You need to go zero tolerance. No drugs, no doo-dooing on the ground, none of that stuff. If you're out here banging needles, you need to get locked up right away. I'm sorry, I don't care. People are saying, "Oh, you're just it's a war on the people that are out there that are drug addicts." You have to do that to prevent the homeless problem from becoming worse. If you're trying to fight homelessness, the way you go about it is by being tougher on homeless people. It's very simple. You can't be trying to fight the problem while at the same time enabling it. If you have a family member that is on drugs, alcohol, or whatever, you can't say that you're going to bring them alcohol and stuff like that to prevent them from going out there and getting it by their own means or becoming sick. You're enabling them. Okay. When you allow them to stay in your home while at the same time they're drinking, you're enabling them. When you give them a place to go to drink freely and do their drugs freely, you're enabling them. The enabling is causing the problem in San Francisco. It's only going to get worse. That homeless center will be filled up instantly, and then you'll see that many more people on the streets again. Like, you'll see more of them. They'll continue to come. You're not going to be able just to chip down on it. Like, you can't just look at a number and say, okay, you got 5,000 homeless people. You can't say, okay, we're going to build a facility that holds 500, 1,000, et cetera, and we're going to bring it to zero. It's not going to happen. Even if you can house all 5,000 people through low-income housing, shelter, or whatever, you're going to get more people that come to the city looking for that same type of treatment. So you're going to be in a never-ending cycle. You'll spend more and more and more and more money without any real positive results. All you're really going to do is put regular tax-paying citizens of your city in danger, and you're going to reduce the tourism. Who wants to come to a city where you got people just on the streets in the middle of the daytime, taking the dump, shooting needles, urinating, crazy, out of their mind, with no kind of real help going on, just enabling? Here's some needles to shoot your drugs. Here's a shooting gallery to shoot your drugs. Here's a center you can go to and do whatever you want. You can engage in all types of crazy, deviant behavior and come right back here, and there's no problem. You can steal, you can rob, you could do all kind of stuff. The crime rate in the city is going through the roof. Who wants to live right there? As I close, I want to say this. San Francisco, California in general, is a beautiful state, but the leaders, the politicians, people that are in charge, Nancy Pelosi, who is in charge of that particular district that the new homeless center is going to be in, or it's proposed to be in. You got two different fundraisers that are trying to compete with each other. One is trying to fight against it. The other one is trying to fight for it. These leaders, these people, these lobbyists that got all this money, they are the reason why California is the way that it is. They are the reason why LA, the homeless population in Skid Row, is just out of control. And same thing with San Francisco, and the same thing with Orange County, Anaheim. It's all a mess. I've never seen anything quite like what's happening in California right now. I've been to New York. I've been on the East Coast. I've seen different things. I've never seen anything quite like that. It's pretty shocking to have third world conditions in the first world country. So what do you think? Do you think the homeless center will be built in Embarcadero? 44,000 square feet, 200 beds. And that seems like a lot of square feet for 200 beds. I could just be tripping. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm not really just doing my calculations properly. But will it be built? Should it be built? If you are a person that had one of these high-priced condos or apartments right there, would you want that in your backyard? Would you want it in your backyard, period, even if you didn't have some kind of very expensive property upon which you had a claim? Just a regular, everyday person. I know I'm not in a super high-priced place. I'm in like a regular neighborhood. I would not want a dope spot across the street or down the street or anywhere near me. I don't want that because I know the danger that comes as a result of that. I'm not trying to be discriminatory against people that are there. I think people should get help for their drug problem, but not close to me. I'm sorry. Like, go elsewhere. Like, go off in the mountains somewhere where they're not going to be a danger to others. It's very simple, but that's pretty much all I got to say. And whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.